So today is the first Monday back after basically the shutdown of Canada. So that means that a lot of us are working from home and the kids are at home with us. So we're juggling a lot. I don't have kids. I definitely shouldn't have said we. Don't know. I basically don't know what that's like. Not basically. I don't know. But it has, like, I have been thinking about how I came to be where I am now, which is kind of a big question. It's not really. More about, like, as a kid, what it meant to be at home with my parents and, like, what would this be like if I was a kid right now. And my partner was asking me about why, like, what are the things that influence the way that I think about things and the habits that I have now. And yeah, a lot of that did come from my parents. When I was a kid, my dad has had a small business my whole life. And so he's done various things, but he always had to track his own income and expenses. So definitely he always had a spreadsheet going for things. And that's my go-to now. If I have to track something or I need to figure something out, I will go to Excel. It's my favorite tool. But I think that that's been really helpful for me because it's definitely encouraged me to do big thinking, like create a budget for the whole year, or I pay myself in my business based on the work that I've done for the business. So sometimes I wear different hats, which means I get paid different amounts. And to be able to track, a month's worth of time and associate that with a particular role and how much I owe myself and just all those things that would seem impossible if I didn't know how to use Excel, but more importantly, how to think about it and how to problem solve. And as I think about problem solving, I think about how did I become a person who enjoys problem solving, because ultimately that is what I enjoy doing. I do love accounting, but I love the problem solving piece of accounting. And it was playing games. I really enjoyed playing games with my parents. My mom specifically loves to play games that are really, like, mentally challenging. And so we would play sometimes video games even. And we would play games that were way too hard for, like, the age that my sister and I were, but mom would help us, and she would, there's a game that we would play where we'd have to, like, map out the levels. And so I would be, like, mapping levels, and my sister was, too young for anything really, so she was just sitting there. But she would talk to us and be like, okay, like, let's map out this level so that we know how to get back here and we know like where we're going, basically. Or, if we make a choice, we know where we made that choice. So then, if we make a choice and then we go this way, then we know where we have to get back to in order to make another choice or to go the other way. And we'd run into problems in this game where we'd have to solve a problem, and maybe we needed a specific item or something to solve this problem. And so she would really facilitate us thinking about how are we going to solve this problem? What is it we need to be able to do this? And I think that sort of play when I was younger was huge for me. I remember playing games where you had to solve riddles, but you didn't necessarily know what the riddle was that you were trying to solve. And I love those games still. So I don't have kids, but I think it would be cool to be able to do that kind of thing with kids now while you're at home with them. Or, like, can you take them to work in some way? You're working at home, so can you bring them to, or show them what you're doing? I remember going to work with my dad when I was a kid, and it was like a take your kid to work day. I think I was in junior high, and we went and we did bookkeeping for a client. And I remember sitting in this room with a bunch of receipts and, like, a pen in my hand, and I was helping my dad, and I loved it. It was great. And I'm sure that part of that was just that I enjoyed tackling this problem with my dad, doing something that I'd never done and really challenging myself with my dad. So I encourage you to do that with your kids, because those are some of the best parts of my childhood, and I think that it really influenced the way that I grew up and what I chose to do with my life and how I choose to solve problems and really lean into those problems. Like, I see big, complex, complicated problems, and I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'm excited to do this. So, yeah, something to think about while we're just hanging out. Not just hanging out, we're working. We're working. But we have a lot of free time, and we're going to have a lot of time in our houses. So, yeah. I'd love to know what kind of experiences influenced you when you were a kid. Like, what do you look back on and think, like, yeah, that, I remember doing this thing, and it has now influenced me, and I'm now in this position or whatever. Like, I love solving problems as a kid. We played a lot of games solving problems, and now I solve problems for a living. I do it through accounting and numbers and stuff like that, but really that's what I choose to be doing. So what is it for you? What did you do as a kid, or how did your parents or siblings or whatever influence you? And what is it, how does it show up in your life now? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you stay safe and well and healthy in this really weird time we're in right now. I'll see you tomorrow.